Hello Capricorn, welcome to your weekly tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. Please hit the like button, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. This is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I do ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. Okay? Remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And look at that Ace of Wands. That's a wonderful way to begin a reading. We've had a lot of really good readings for you lately. If you haven't watched last week's reading, go check that one out as well, because it feels like we're really on a positive trend here. We're going to do the rest of our Dove and Serpent spread, and as I lay these cards out, I also want to say that if there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know in the comments. Finishing up Path of the Serpent here, we get a little bit of the air energy in here. I know the air energy and this kind of conflict person that we've been dealing with, they seem to pop up now and again in your readings, but lately they haven't been much of a problem, so I think we're pretty good on that front. Now we're going to do a mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card, and for that we're going to use the Trusted Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I don't use this deck as often as it deserves. I'm hoping to change that though, because I really do like the Rider-Waite-Smith. It's quite the classic these days. Okay, we're going to put that right over there. We're not going to look at it until the very end. Okay. And hopefully that will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we're looking for. So right away I'm seeing some good major arcana energy. 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana. We have double fire right here in the middle. A little more fire on that side. We've got a little bit of air down here beneath everything. And then we have water up top. So it's very balanced, not even in so much in terms of which cards we have, because I'll tell you we're a little bit light on the earth. We have some earth here with that hermit energy. But just in terms of the bottom row, the kind of middle section, and then the top of everything, seems very balanced, right? But first we're going to look at this Ace of Wands. Now, pardon my voice, my throat. Still dealing with some congestion. The Ace of Wands here, I feel like you're really getting this intense creative spark lately. You know, I feel as if you're becoming tremendously inspired, right? And we'll find out what that might be stemming from and what it might be leading toward. But right now, let's just embrace this feeling of being motivated, of having this surge of creative energy, like I can accomplish things, I can create things. You know, I'm a strong, powerful person, and I can accomplish my will. If I can understand what it is that I am truly being called to do, or what it is that I really want to create, there's nothing in your way, right? And I feel like that's kind of the energy that's going on right now. I feel like you've been in a positive state of like holistic energy, you know, especially coming off the last reading and maybe for the last 3, maybe 4 weeks. I feel like you're shifting towards this idea of complete well-being, you know, not just physical health and fitness, but mental health, right? Emotional health and spiritual health. I think you're really focused on this holistic kind of energy configuration where everything is resonating with everything and producing this lust and vitality for life. And then I don't say that you know, randomly. We have that lust or strength card here in your environment. This 11th mystery of the tarot, this is in your environment, but this is your resource. This is what you're drawing from. You know what I mean? That's the kind of energy that you're harnessing. And I think it really, this card and the rest of the fire energy in general, but particularly the Ace and this lust or strength card, they really go hand in hand. Okay. And this really is your creativity, your vital energy, your strength, your spiritual fire. That spark of deity that is becoming activated in you. I think we're really achieving, like I said, a balance, a kind of holistic energy configuration. Recently, lately, right now, for the next few days, I think it's going to be a focus. Where are you going to apply this creative energy? Okay, what kind of opportunities are you going to create for yourself? What kind of opportunities is the universe going to put in your path? Okay, you're ready for anything. You're ready. It's just a matter now of being discerning and choosing where to direct this energy. Right? Where are we going to put this creative energy? We see the 5 of Wands that's right on top of that ace. So the ace is the source, the unity, the core, the root of it. Right? The seed of all of this fire and creativity, this inspiration, this passion. Right? But it's still in seed form. But here we have the 5. This is fully expressed now in human activity. Right? It's fully surging through your 5 fingers. You know, five of Wands, and we have our 5 fingers. Each of these is one of those wands, right? And it's with our hands that we can create, build things. It's with our hands that we can tear things apart. It's with our hands that we can greet people and welcome people. It's with our hands that we can halt people. We could keep people away. We can use force if necessary, right? So the 5 of Wands has a lot of different uses, right? Practical applications. And this is you really figuring out which of these applications is right for you. Because we have that ace back here fueling everything, and it manifests as a 5. So what are you going to be doing with your hands, right? What are you going to be creating? What are you going to be taking apart? Are you going to be welcoming people in? Or are you going to be keeping people away and isolating? We do have that hermit energy in the future. Okay, so not sure. We got to see how this goes. I see in the recent past that you did do a lot of like spiritual exploration, a lot of introspection, contemplation. I feel like you really made a serious connection with your true self, your God, goddess, deity, higher self, higher soul, spirit guides, guardian angel, with the absolute, with spirit, with the void, with the nothingness, with the universe, with nature, with love, whatever you want to call that kind of higher power that we aspire to. I feel like you have a direct connection with that. Now, with that direct connection, it's kind of a catch-22, because Spirit will tell you you can do anything you want. And then if you try to do something that maybe isn't right for you, Spirit will say, you could do anything you want, but not that. You know? You have this infinite capability, this infinite capacity, but you have to choose the right outlet for yourself. That's specific to you, to your personality, your psyche, your body, your complete configuration. And that's Mercury. This Mercury says, hey, it's the magician, right? Let's create. Let's create a world. Let's create a reality. And that is kind of the conversation that you're having. You want to create. You feel this inspiration. You feel this spark. You feel this surge of creative, spiritual force and fire. Now it's just a matter of figuring out how we're going to express that. What are we going to be working on? What is your new plan, your purpose, the meaning for you right now? I still think that you have a lot of commitments. Excuse my voice. We have this justice or adjustment card down at the bottom. Underneath everything is still this air energy, your interpersonal relationships, your commitments, your promises, your business responsibilities, your domestic responsibilities, friendships and associations, and all the irons that you still have in the fire. You know, just because we feel this surge of creativity, it doesn't mean that suddenly we abandon all of our responsibilities. Doesn't mean that suddenly we can literally be hermits on the top of a mountain and have no other care in the world other than our spiritual fulfillment, our creative fulfillment. You still have a lot of commitments, you know. And in your past readings, we assumed that you ran the family business, or you were involved in some sort of business with family members, and that was a huge responsibility for you. And that's where a lot of this more negative air energy was taking place. Now, I said we had air beneath everything. We have the Justice or Adjustment card, which is an air energy. It's a Libra kind of energy. And then we have the Five of Swords. So it's interesting. We have all of this fire that's kind of in our conscious awareness. It's what we are feeling and experiencing right now is this fire. Right? This Mercury energy, the fire, maybe the impulse to go hermit mode, and then still into the rest of this fire here, right here in the middle. And then we've got water up here, air down here. So maybe we'll separate things like this so we can see it a little bit differently. Hopefully that works on the overhead camera for you guys. So we have the air down here, and this on the one side with this Libra energy. This is your commitments, your responsibilities, the people that you still have to kind of answer to, right? You have commitments, you have things that you're supposed to do, people that rely on you, either at work or at home, in your organizations, in your communities, etc. We also have this pesky air energy over here, this Five of Wands. Now, the Five of Wands is kind of the negative counterpart of this the Five of Swords, Five of Wands. I think I misspoke. The Five of Swords here is all of this fiery energy, this impulse to create, right? Five of Wands. But with the Five of Swords, this is the self-defeating aspect of that. This is all of this fiery wand energy that wants to be expressed, wants to create. We want to figure out what to do with our hands, right? The Five of Swords is our mind telling us, I can't do anything. It's like this fire energy just fizzles out. And we end up with defeated hands, right? Idle hands. And it is maybe an indecision of what to do with this creative energy, right? We're not sure if we want to take apart or put together. We're not sure if we want to welcome or keep away. So all of this unsureness is defeating this fire energy, right? The Five of Swords. The key word there is defeat. It's self-defeating, right? And this is underlying. This is beneath everything. These responsibilities and then this self-doubt and this self-defeating energy. These two go hand in hand because maybe there's some thoughts here about not having the time, not having the energy, not having the space or the room or the support to do these things, to figure out this new passion and purpose in our lives. And we could easily fall back into this air energy. It's almost falling off the table. We could easily fall back into this air energy and think that it is because of all of our daily responsibilities, our so-called mundane responsibilities, and that's why we can't have the creative expression that we want. That's why we can't follow this path of fire that we have here. So it would be easy to fall into this. And that relieves us of a lot of responsibility, right? If I can just say, well, I can't really follow these interests and these passions because there's not enough time. There's not enough space. People around me don't support me. I have too much else to do. I'm responsible for too much. Too many people depend on me. Besides, I'm not tall enough, smart enough. I don't have nice enough clothes. There are all sorts of doubts, right? And the thing with the Five of Swords is that it will just keep multiplying and multiplying and multiplying, right? Because it's still the five fingers, it's still the hand, and the more we do this work with our hands, right? This self-defeating work of finding reasons and excuses, the more we get good at it, and we just keep building more and more of these reasons, excuses, these self-defeating attitudes and thoughts, right? But I don't want to dwell there, and I don't think you do either. So we're getting out of this air energy. This fire and this water now are really where we want to be. The fire energy does lead us to this hermit. Okay? Now, the hermit this is someone who is kind of taking this energy for themselves, right? This is something that is being held a little bit privately. It may be not for the world to know. It may be something that is, it is something that's uniquely yours, that is somewhat private in that it's sacred, right? This energy, this creative impulse, this spiritual experience that I think is related to all of this fire, and especially this magician Mercury energy over here. This is a very sacred thing to you. And I feel like you have tapped into a spiritual voice, an angel, an entity, some kind of spiritual force that is communicating through this magician, this Mercury energy. So it's coming into your mind with this, I think, a very beautiful spiritual kind of resonance or music almost. I'm also getting a bee name. I don't know if that's related to anything for you, but I'm hearing a bee sound. Maybe related to this experience of this kind of this spiritual experience. Maybe the bee has something to do with what you want to do with this creative energy, or some people in your life that are supportive of this, because I do feel like you have a lot of support in your environment. It may not feel that way, and we may again fall into this air energy and begin to doubt the availability of our time and our energy, right? We may feel that we are beholden to other people to such a degree that we're not then even capable of utilizing this fire energy, this creativity, this spiritual experience. But the bee name is a sidetrack. I don't know if that is even anything relevant. The hermit energy. I feel like you have entered into a very unique, very special, very private, very individualized covenant with your spirit, with your self, higher self, capital S, God, Goddess, deity, etc., etc. And I feel now that you've discovered that light within you, that light that is kind of the direct meeting place between you and spirit. And I feel like you're being led by that light. You know, this is the hermit energy who is kind of traveling toward creation, right? Creation being the egg entwined by the serpent, okay? That is creation about to happen. There's no stopping it, right? And you are being taken to that place of creativity, of expression, of fulfilling your will, fulfilling your purpose, finding meaning in your activities, in your work, in your creations, right? Now, I don't mean to imply that your creative work, that this fire work, is somehow separate from your responsibilities, from your mundane work. This isn't so much about what you're doing, more about how you're doing it and why, right? So the hermit energy. We had some hermit energy for you a few weeks ago, and this was, I think, some advice to take a small trip or a walk or a visit to nature by yourself. Commune with nature, right? Get in touch with yourself and get grounded in the earth and feel the wind and the sun and the water and the earth beneath your feet. To commune with those energies, okay? And I really think that a lot of you have done that, or you continue to do that. And I think that is a way of getting centered, getting grounded in the midst of all of this air energy, all of this confusion, and just hectic lifestyles, schedules, organization, phone calls, texts, emails, business stuff, family stuff, all of that, right? We need to sometimes disconnect and commune with ourselves and with the world around us, okay? And that could be done in the middle of a busy airport or a mall or something, wherever. Any place that's really busy. we can always close our eyes and have that communion, right? That communication and that union, that knowledge and that conversation. And that happens here as we draw the shades down, right? We close our eyes. We cloak our souls a little bit so that we can go inward and we can find that space and we can find that light and we can follow it. We can get a glimpse of where it is headed so that we can take a few steps in that direction too. And so the point, I guess, here is that it's not talking about a literal withdrawing from the world. Maybe a temporary taking some time out, and being alone for a while, doing meditations, doing contemplation, spiritual work, inner work, astral work, communing with nature, just getting away to a body of water. I feel like this is more of a clearing in a wood. A lot of earth energy. I'm getting that feeling or that impression, when you're in a forest and it's, let's say, the sun has just risen, so there's still moisture and dew and everything on the ground and on the plants, and you smell that moisture the way a forest would smell. That's what I'm getting right now. That's what I'm getting from looking at this hermit energy and feeling that. And I think that smell, at least for me, really activates this kind of communion space that we're talking about. And to me, it's kind of a clearing in the middle of this great forest, right? This kind of wilderness. Anyway, whatever that is for you, we need to activate that so we can experience that communion again. And I think that's the reason for the hermit energy here, because we need to continually get in touch with ourselves so that we don't get lost down here in this air. We need to get out of this atmosphere, at least figuratively, right? Virtually, let's say. And that leads us right over to the rest of this fire energy, primarily this lust or strength card. This is a true harnessing of your magical abilities. This is you feeling powerful. This is you feeling in control of your body, of your mind, of your emotions. This, again, is kind of reminding me of what we said at the beginning, where I feel like you're focusing on this holistic lifestyle now. You're very focused on your physical vitality, wellness. You're very focused on your mental and emotional health and well-being, right? So you're really in control of these things. Now, it doesn't mean that, you're never in a bad mood, or you never have a bad day, or you never indulge in, some sweets or something. But you have a control over yourself. So when you do have a bad day, it doesn't ruin you. When you do indulge in a sweet treat, let's say, it doesn't ruin you. We never lose that control, right? And it's a control of our spirit. It's a harnessing of this fire energy that says we're in charge, right? With this 5 of wands, with our 5 fingers, well, 10 really, but 20 if you count the toes. We're in control of these things, so we can either build or we can take apart. But we're in control. Whatever we choose to do is our choice, right? It comes from a place of intent. It doesn't come from this chaotic air energy that is just tossing us around like a ship in a storm. We have the control over where we're going. And then to put on top of that, this 10 of wands here. The 10 of wands is started out in the position of your fears, worries, and concerns. And I think that in some ways the 10 of wands is talking about us squandering some of this fire energy. And I think that's, again, fear, worry, and concern. Are you going to utilize it, or is it just going to be, as they say, pissed away? Right? So, we say it's an infinite energy, yes, but our physical lives, our physical forms are not infinite. The strength of our bodies is not infinite. We have a limited time to utilize this fiery energy. So there is such a thing as too little too late, you know. So I think part of that concern is starting to manifest as a little bit of restlessness. I don't want to say anxiety, but that's what I'm starting to feel. Because I think that the longer we wait, the more we stay in this air energy down below, the less time we have to really take advantage of this spiritual fire. I don't know what else to call this, but it's just so amazing that that these cards kind of balanced out the way that they did. You know, especially with all of this fire energy right in the middle, and the air and the water on both sides. Okay. And it's interesting too that this earth energy, the Hermit, is Virgo. It's some good earth energy right in, basically in the complete middle of the spread, right? Showing the focus, showing that all of this energy here is not meaningless, but it's still rather theoretical unless we bring it down and ground it, find a way to express it and release it. And I think that is going to be really good for relieving this. The more that you can get a sense of this fire energy in all of your activities, all of your creations, in all of your taking aparts, whatever. Construction and destruction, right? Destruction's not a bad word. This also is part of the overwhelming feeling of this. It feels like this is a lot of energy in you, and it's almost like an electrical current going through a wire that's a little bit too thin, right? It's going to blow the wire. It's going to blow the circuit. It's just too much current. So I think that is another reason why you've been focusing on your health and well-being, so that you can be a small enough gauge wire, or, you know, a thick enough wire to handle this spiritual current and not get overloaded, right? And this is why we are trying to be well insulated, and that insulation is our mental and emotional fortitude and well-being. You're protecting your circle, right? You are protecting your bubble. Magicians and rituals, they tend to do a circle, you know, kind of a two-dimensional circle just on the ground, right? We need to think of that circle, that protective circle, as a 360 bubble. And that's probably even limited too. It's probably multi-dimensional. But at least we should begin thinking of it as a 360 circle. We're walking around, we're existing in a magic bubble, right? And that fortifies us against a lot of this air energy primarily. We have our own atmosphere in here, right? So whatever the conditions outside, I'm a big like sci-fi kind of person. I really like space travel movies, you know? So I just feel like it's somebody in a spacesuit kind of thing. And it doesn't matter what the atmosphere is around us, because we've got our own air in here, right? And that's something that we have to work on establishing. That's part of the Hermit energy too. And that's how we can be resistant to some of this air influence. And that is also how we can kind of contain a lot of this fire energy. And it won't manifest as just chaos and anxiety and restlessness and confusion. We'll really harness it and put it to good use. And this is really all about harnessing that fire energy and your creativity and this magical current. Now we see this water energy. I'm sorry this video is getting a little bit long, but Capricorn, you've always got such complex energy configurations in your reading, and I really love reading for Capricorn. We have the air energy up above everything. The first one is this Four of Cups. This is your emotional fortitude. This is you really anchoring your ship. Right? You're anchored in place, and the storm, the swells, the sea cannot harm you. Right? This is you being anchored. The same as kind of what we're talking about, being grounded, you know, being in our own 360 protective magic circle or bubble. This is you really being anchored to your spirit, anchored to this, well, this spiritual light that you found within. anchored to this Ace of Wands, anchored to this Mercury energy, this Magician, which these are all the same kind of thing, right? It's all from the same place. And sometimes the Four of Cups is a negative card, or has negative connotations, like that we're lacking some happiness, or that we are not experiencing fulfillment, or that there's just nothing exciting going on emotionally, right? I would sometimes say that this is just a ship that's not sinking, but it's not really going anywhere special either. It's just kind of anchored in place. In this instance, though, being anchored in our emotions is exactly what we want, right? We don't want to get too carried away by any of the circumstances around us, that we lose focus on this fire energy. We lose focus on what our purpose, what our meaning is. This is you really being anchored, and I'm going to continue to say it, anchored to your sense of purpose, your sense of destiny, the meaning that you have found, the spiritual energy, the source, the light, life, and love, the force and fire that you have found, that you are continuing to discover moment after moment. And we're being anchored to that. We are locked in with that energy. So that is some emotional fortitude, right? That is you not letting the negative influence from the seas, the outer atmosphere, affect you and what you're feeling, right? Not that you're lacking empathy or compassion. We can still understand and have compassion for other people without allowing their emotions to come in and ruin us, right? Without allowing negative emotions to come into our 360 magic bubble and cause us to then feel the same emotions, to be that same energy. We can empathize, that's different. We can have compassion, that's different. But for us to then be identified with that same emotion, now two of us are miserable, right? So we need that emotional fortification. We need to be anchored to our purpose, to our will, to our God, Goddess, deity, whatever we're calling this kind of fiery, the source of this fiery energy. It's the source, but it also is the energy itself, right? Finally, we have a Princess of Cups, and I'm wondering if this isn't a younger feminine energy person in your life with whom you may be struggling with this emotional anchoring kind of thing, right? It could be that this is someone in your life that is their moods, their emotions do affect you, and I think maybe we're trying to find a way to still have compassion and empathy and be loving and supportive and nurturing, but not let it really affect us at our core, right? They may be a water sign person, maybe not, but I think it's somebody younger than you. I'm getting a feminine energy, but that could just be an energy configuration. It has nothing to do with gender or anything like that. I think this is someone in your life. And I think that this is maybe the B name that we heard at the beginning. But I think it's a practical example of how we need to be fortified against allowing the shifting moods and emotions and feelings and stuff of other people to then elicit or evoke the same feeling within us, right? We have to fortify our magic bubble so that we don't let in these outside forces, unless we choose to bring one into our circle, right, and interact with it. Otherwise, nothing can penetrate our circle. And that's what we're working on in order to insulate ourselves so that we can handle this spiritual current. Okay, I don't want that message to get lost here. I also don't want this mystery card to get lost. Rider-Waite-Smith. Mystery card. Maybe some more earth energy. Maybe a 6. I would like to see a 6 of discs or a 6 of cups. Right now would be perfect. Well, it's the 10 of Wands again. It's the 10 of Wands again. So we have the 10 of Wands now twice. So I think that the anxiety is really more pronounced than I initially thought. Okay? And I think that this is sometimes this spiritual current, this energy, this electricity, this force and fire that you feel, sometimes could manifest as, like I said, anxiety or restlessness. And that could really look like you just carrying around these 10 staffs for really no reason. Like you're just giving yourself busy work. Like you just told yourself, hey, I'm gonna take these bundles of sticks from here to over there. No rhyme or reason. Just to do something. It's almost like you're just going to, lift up the TV a few times. Just you have this energy. I know TVs aren't very heavy. Back when I was a kid, TVs were like 100 pounds. They were huge, huge, big boxes of things. This is just doing something like pushing against a boulder, right? Trying your hardest to move a boulder because you have this fire energy built up in you and you at times don't know what to do with it. So rather than it overloading the circuit, you just push against a brick wall or you try to push over a tree or something, or you bench press the TV. I know that doesn't mean much. But you know what I'm getting at, right? It's kind of like you should just go to the gym and just lift weight until your muscles fail. That will give you the relief. But that is not going to solve the problem of all of this spiritual energy. This will solve kind of the way it's building up in your body and your muscles, right? But it's not going to be the kind of expression that it really is looking to have, right? So that's why still we're coming back to the 5 of Wands, that we need to figure out what we're doing with our hands to fully and completely and adequately express this fire energy that we have, this sense of purpose and inspiration and force and fire and all of that stuff. What we're going to do is find the extended, and if you would like to find it too, click on the link right there. And then you can have access to all of the extended readings, okay? Capricorn, this was your weekly reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. And I want to thank you, as always. I love reading for Capricorn. It's my honor and my pleasure to do so. Thank you so much for letting me read for you.